My new Toyota Tundra interior is no good. And what about a supercharger? Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Rob Motive FST. And that's right, my Toyota Tacoma interior is no good. It's my fault. It's not the truck itself. There's a couple of things in here that I need to change. And what about a supercharger? We'll get to that in just a couple minutes. But let me flip you around here. And what I'm talking about, I know a lot of people don't like this, and that's this bright red emblem cover that I've got on the steering wheel. I am going to do something about that because frankly, it just pops too much in here. When you get in the truck, this thing is just beaming. So I am going to change that. I am going to change the color. Need to look and see if I can find what I want so I can just take this off and put the other one on. That's the nice thing about this, is it is just double-sided tape. So out here in the heat that we get where I am, I can just pull this thing off and put a different one on, no big deal. I could paint it if I can't find what I want. We'll see how that goes. The other thing is the center shifter area. You know, originally I was going to put a boot over this. There'd be a boot that came down. I got the grid here, the pattern on the top of the shifter. It was going to be really cool, I thought. Well, it turns out it was just way more involved than what I thought was beneficial to do. Not that I know if it even would have worked. So I scrapped that idea because frankly, I just didn't think it would come out very well. But as you can tell, I do have the lollipop look now. Kind of looks like one of those Tootsie Roll suckers or something, a little bit bigger on a stick because of this chrome shift rod here. So I am going to do something about this. I've had a couple ideas. You know, I thought, well, maybe I could paint it. I could put something on here and take care of the chrome look. But I have another idea. So let's get on the road, and I will let you guys know what I'm thinking for that. And I'm looking for feedback too. If you have any ideas, please leave a comment down below. Let me know, given what I'm going to tell you I want to do with it, what you think might be a good solution. Around in the Toyota Tundra, I have to say it's very refreshing. You know, to jump in this giant truck with all of its power, it's just awesome. And don't get me wrong, it's not like I don't dig the smaller trucks, the mid-sized trucks I have, the Tacoma and the Gladiator, but there's just something refreshing about jumping in the gargantuan Toyota Tundra and taking a cruise. So, first of all, back to the center shifter, the shift rod particularly. As I mentioned, I'm not going to do a boot. I don't see any reason to do that. The payoff is just not worth the pain. So we're not doing that. But I do have the rod to contend with. Obviously, I'm not a chrome fan. As much chrome as I can delete, I'm going to do it. So I mentioned about painting that rod. I'm not going to do that. I can't spray it in here. If you paint it with a brush, it's going to have marks. It's going to look bad. So I'm not doing any of that. But I had another idea. It dawned on me I could get some shrink tubing. in black, of course. I could use a color if I wanted. You can get it in about 1 million different colors, but I think that would look too much. You know, you wouldn't want red on red, you know, with the shift knob, because I am going to leave the shift knob on there. I think it's kind of cool. I like it. It's just something different. I like the hand feel of it. I rest my hand there all the time, and I just think it's kind of neat. So I'm going to get some black shrink tubing, I think. Something that will fit over the shifter shaft, whatever you want to call it, rod. And I'm going to put it on there. I'm going to shrink it down. We're going to see how that looks. I'm hoping I can get like a roll of it or something, because obviously I need it to be longer than what you typically would get to cover wires or whatever. And I don't think that's going to be a problem. So I'm going to get that, a couple different sizes, slip it over the shift rod on here, and then shrink it down and see what kind of a look I get. I will have to use a hairdryer, given all the plastic and stuff around there. I'm not going to blast it with a heat gun. You know, it's funny, I get a lot of comments on the channel, especially when talking about emblem removal and stuff, you know, the badges and things around the truck. People use heat guns. Now, first of all, I'm not doubting that they probably have the skills to do that. And that's the only time you should use one up against anything that you can damage, in my opinion, is when you have the skills to do it. Personally, I'd rather just use a hairdryer on high. It's not going to get hot enough that it's going to melt or damage anything. That's just my preferred method, I suppose, given my skill level with a heat gun. So I will be using a hairdryer. I'll shrink it down. I want to butt it up right up against the bottom of where the shifter screws on. So I have to mark that. And then down at the other side, or the other end rather, up against the plate below, if you will, so that it completely covers the chrome. Now, what I'm curious from you guys is, do you have any other ideas? I wouldn't mind having the diameter of the shift rod be a little bit thicker, at least aesthetically. I mean, I'm not gonna like put extra metal on there or something, but I would like it to be a little bit more robust, I guess, in appearance. Because I think right now, with the way it is, it just looks like a skinny twig with a big shift knob on the top of it. I'm not a real fan of that, and I do think that making it black or putting the shrink tubing on there will give it a little bit thicker stance. I could double up. I could put a couple of layers of shrink tubing on there, you know, to give it a little bit thicker look. I even thought about maybe just putting some washers or nuts or something over the shift knob. It would be all the way up. That would kind of look hokey, and they'd probably rattle around eventually anyway and drive me nuts, but something just to get that area a little bit thicker, at least above the housing that's down there. So if you have any other ideas, I'd be curious. I know you guys are pretty darn resourceful, and you've given me some really good ideas in the past, so I'd be curious to know if you have any. Leave a comment, let me know. Also, what about a supercharger? You know, I've had a couple of emails actually from people asking me if I'm going to supercharge the truck. First of all, the short answer is no, I'm not. While there is one cool thing about it that I would like, that's the whine, the supercharger whine. That would be pretty cool, but it certainly doesn't justify spending, who knows, 8 to 10, 12 grand, whatever, by the time you're all in. So I'm not looking to do that just for sound. But what about the power? You know, the Tundra with its V8 in it and the Sprint booster installed now, I don't think it's lacking for power or elimination in lag. So it's plenty quick enough off the line. I don't think there are really many trucks out there that if I really wanted to get on it, especially if they're not knowing I'm gonna, that I wouldn't be able to beat, right? This truck is pretty darn quick now, and with no more lag, it picks up just like that. So I'm pretty happy with the way it is. There's no reason for me to put a supercharger on this truck. I think it has plenty of power right now. Now, if I was a drag strip participator, you know, or if I was in a lot of drag races, well, then it might be worth it, I suppose. But I don't do that. I mean, I'm not typically out racing people off the line, although I do like to be first. But it's not worth it to me. So no, there'll be no supercharger. I think it's set up fine the way it is right now. Leave a comment. I know there's a few people out there that have gotten superchargers. Tundra dude was one. I believe he had a supercharger on his last Toyota Tundra. But there aren't many that I'm aware of. So let me know if you have one and what you think of it. Is it really worth it? I'd be curious to know. Also, real quick, I do have 2 additional channels. Rob Motive, all about my brand new 2021 Toyota Tacoma. And Rob Motive JT, all about my 2020 Jeep Gladiator. Check them out, and if you're interested, please consider subscribing. Don't forget to click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. And do me a favor, smash that subscribe button on the way out. Thanks for watching. Stay quick out there. Bye.